Hi. I will wait a few seconds to get people up on the line. I don't know if you're just getting the, oh, oops, what am I doing? um, so we decided to do Facebook Live this week with just a simple Q&A. We have received, I feel like I'm getting a reverb, like it's showing like a slow move. I don't know. I don't really care. So we decided this week to do, you grab two of these magazines out from, from under. There we go. Okay. So we decided to do a Q&A and this week just to get any questions answered that you may have had for me, whether it's about me or about the business or about a style of bag or really anything that you wanted to know. I thought, why not get to know each other a little bit better? So you know more about the bags, but figured, maybe you might have some questions about me. So we did have a few people send in questions or post some questions. So we will go ahead and maybe start with that. And then if you have any questions that you want to ask me, then that works for me as well. And we will try to answer them in a timely manner. So thanks for joining us. And sorry, I'm trying to adjust the camera a little bit. I'm going to have Sarah, who is my lifestyle marketing intern, help me go through the questions that we have received. But happy hour. Thanks for joining me for Friday Facebook Live. Okay, so question number 1, Sarah.
Okay, so the first question is from Brandy, and she wanted to know what your most favorite bag is and why.
My most favorite bag. I will say that's changed a little bit over the years. Each bag is designed with a friend in mind and then named after them. So I don't know if you know that or not. If you've purchased a bag, the tag will kind of talk about that. Obviously, probably the bag I wear all the time is my Lauren bag. And I will say that right now I'm using the Free Love, which is like a plum color, and I wear that a lot. I've worn several different colors over the years. Sea Breeze is one of my favorite colors that I love that we do. And my other favorite bag is my Rosewood Nikki. It's kind of like, that's my kind of small going out favorite bag, and then my Lauren is my everyday favorite, running around town, going anywhere, because I fold it over a lot. So that's kind of my go-to bag. I don't know if I have a favorite of all time, but the only style that I don't own yet or use is the Mini Pamela, and it's one that I've been wanting to use, and it's just figuring out what color that is that I want to use. So I don't know how much that really answered the question.
Well, our next question is from Mallory, and she wanted to know what other jobs you had before creating your business.
What other jobs I had? I've had a lot of jobs before this. I went to San Diego State and fell in love with, well, I always had a love of music. And so music was a huge part of me. It's a huge part of my design process too, I think. But when I was in college, I interned at a radio station. I don't know how many of you know that. My really good friends all know that may or may not be on here. And so I interned at the radio station, fell in love with it. It was a mom and pop, kind of similar to me in the sense of, small business. And I worked my way up, and I was the music director, so I got to go to shows, listen to music, help choose the songs that the radio station played, and my day-to-day job was scheduling all the songs for the DJs to play. So I scheduled song to song to song to song. That was my day-to-day job. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my 20s, going to shows and meeting rock stars, and did that all throughout my 20s and early 30s, and then decided that I wanted to do the handbags out of a dare from my sister, so to speak. And when I moved to Chicago, I took a job promoting monster trucks just to make ends meet. So this desire to do a handbag business was a long process before I officially made it my official business. I did a lot of sewing in my off time, going to work to 9 to 5 jobs. I can't answer that. That was my sister. So I took the 9 to 5 job promoting monster trucks just because I needed a steady income. The bags were in the very beginning stages, and once they actually downsized me out, like my position got eliminated, and it was the blessing in disguise that I needed, because it was kind of like, okay, it's time to either do something with this handbag business or not. And so that's kind of really what kickstarted it. And now this is where I'm at.
Awesome. So next, Jessie wants to know what your favorite pastime is when you're not working.
When I'm not working,
yeah,
probably drinking wine. Going out with my friends. I mean, Chicago is a great city for great restaurants, great beer, great. I've never tried so many more different beers in my life than when I moved to Chicago. Between all the breweries and the small, different places to go, like the mom and pop restaurants that serve, it's not all about Coors Light and Miller Lite and bleh. So yeah, those are my favorite pastimes. When I lived in California, I used to go to the beach all the time, but moving to Chicago, whenever people say, "Oh, let's go to the beach," I think they're crazy, because I don't consider our lakefront a beach. It is a lakefront. You can quote me on that.
That's true. Well, our next one kind of goes hand in hand with that. Mary wanted to know what your favorite thing about living in Chicago is.
My favorite thing about living in Chicago. Well, ironically enough, I did not think I would last that long here. When I moved here, my sister was just starting a family, and I really wanted to be close to the family. My parents were born and raised here, so I had visited as a child. And Chicago was definitely on that, like, it would be a great place to live one day or for a certain amount of time. But I was always I wanted to live in San Francisco. I wanted to live in Europe. I wanted to live in New York. I wanted to experience living all these different places when I was younger. But once my sister started having kids and I moved out here, the thought of picking up and leaving them and not seeing them grow up, I couldn't even imagine that. So I basically said, I'm here until they grow up, and then I may stay, I may leave, I don't know. When I started the business, I think a lot of people were like, you need to go back to LA, or you need to go to New York, because that's where, fashion is. And, that's the thing. It's like, I think Chicago has so much to offer with, the lakefront, with all the, there's just so many mom and pop restaurants. I mean, if you're a foodie, this is like the mecca of places to live. I love being able to live in the city but not be downtown. I get the benefits of the city, and I still live in a tree-lined street, so I can still walk up and down my neighborhood and it doesn't feel like I'm downtown. And I can hop in a cab or hop in a Uber or Lyft, and I can be somewhere. I can get on the train and be downtown. The ebbs and flows of Chicago are so different from the Southern California I grew up on. I mean, you were always in your car. You always had to be driving. And, especially LA. San Diego, when I lived at the beach, I could ride my bike to the beach, and that was that. I do miss that, I will say. When I retire, I would love to retire back in San Diego. That would be my go-to. We have a question here. Carol, what is Chicago like for you right now? Are stores, restaurants open? It's a mix, Carol. It's the patios are open. They started to, I think, open the indoor recently at very limited capacity. I'm not out shopping like at stores. There are a couple places I've purchased online, and I feel like, oh, I need to go and return some stuff, or would love to go shopping again. But a lot of the small boutiques, they're allowing, I think, 1 or 2 customers in at a time. The Starbucks locally, there's no inside seating. It's kind of grab and go still. But I did go out for my birthday, and we were on a patio. It was very limited, and you had time frames. They kind of did reservations so that way people weren't just coming and going. And so we were able to get 2 tables, and they were very distant from each other and from other people, which actually was kind of nice. That you felt like you kind of had your own little place. So it's slowly getting there. I haven't looked into how Missouri's doing, because you're in St. Louis. How is, if you can answer, how is St. Louis? Are the stores and restaurants open there? I'm kind of curious. I know that I think California, Carrie, you're in California. I think, didn't they reclose that, or is San Diego and LA treating things differently? I don't know how California, if it's doing it statewide or if it's by county, by region. While I'm waiting for your answers, we will go on to the next question.
Okay, so Lois wanted to know how many siblings you have, like if you get to see them a lot.
Well, that kind of goes on my last one. Well, like I said, I moved here because of my sister. She was having her first child. She now has 3. So I love being a part of their day-to-day life. My sister and I, when we were growing up, we're only a few years apart. But we definitely had our own groups of friends and our own things, and she's been the family-oriented sibling, and I've been the kind of very independent sibling. I've always been somebody, like, even back in high school, I was always on ASB. I was on yearbook. I was the editor for a little while. I was student body president. I was pledge class president. I always feel like I was almost destined to have my own business, because I always felt like I was running the show, where my sibling was, she just enjoyed being, and she knew she wanted to get married and have kids, and that was her blinders, and mine was independent. And when I started the handbag business, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea what I was starting, and it was a long up and down process of figuring out what's working, what's not working, what I do more of, what I do less of. I think I escaped the question. All right, we have, let's see. Thanks, Mary. Yes, it looks maybe a little bit more gigantic on here, but I always do a good pour, especially if I'm going to be drinking. And then Carrie, so in San Diego, they are starting to reclose bars again, and soon possibly restaurants for dine-in, unless there's outside seating. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, there's a part of me that, because I work from home, I don't get to see and feel the brunt of the quarantine, because I'm just so used to being homebody in a way. But I do miss going out, with my friends. But I saw that in California, it was crazy. People were just, I wear my mask. When I go outside, I wear my mask. When I'm indoor, well, when I'm driving, but when I'm going in somewhere, I have a mask. And so few people, I'd say probably 70% in Chicago are really good about wearing their masks, and then there's probably about 20% who are and they're trying to hold their shirt over their nose and mouth when they walk in somewhere to do something. But there's so many comparisons I can make that I'm not going to make them here. But yeah, let's see what else we have. Carol. We're opening slowly. Still a lot of curbside pickup. Yep, we have a lot of curbside pickup too. But limited seating in restaurants, yep. In the city, we have to wear masks. Yep. That's the same with us. We, and there's a lot of people that don't know how to wear their masks. That they wear them like down here on their chin or here, and they're not covering their nose, and it's really insane. It's like it's not that big a deal. I wear glasses so I can see. I wear a mask so that I can protect myself and others. I mean, I don't think I have COVID, but I could be asymptomatic. I don't know. And I think that's the key with anything, is just if we're all careful, we will be able to do that. Darcy, hi Darcy, thanks for joining. So yeah, I'm just doing a quick Q&A. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just type them in and I will ask them. Obviously, Darcy and Carrie, you know probably a lot about me, but there may be something that you don't know. What is the next question, Sarah?
This is from Raji Ann. She wanted to know what you miss the most about living in California.
What I miss most? Probably my friends. I miss my friends a lot. I went out, speaking of Darcy, I went out for Darcy's 50th birthday in February. Saw a lot of good friends. Got to go to San Diego. Got to go back to San Diego State. It was almost like I had never left. It's like you go. I lived there for so long and have so many good friends out there, and so the friends are the number one thing. Obviously, I miss the weather. The weather was hands down, San Diego, the best weather in the United States, I think. And the beaches, I miss that. We can go on bike rides here, but it's just not the same as riding the bike ride up the boardwalk, stopping in to a restaurant, getting something to eat, going back out, watching people play volleyball. And the boardwalk here is it's not as a good mix between restaurants and the beach. Like the boardwalk in San Diego was like all the restaurants were right there, the boardwalk was there, and the beach was right there. Everything was like combined and next to each other. Here, everything is so separate. Like you have to be downtown. There's Castaways that's on the beach, but the way they do it in, at least in Southern California, I miss that, and I miss my friends. But they get to visit me in a great city like Chicago, which they need to do more of, just FYI. Let's see, since so many people are doing online shopping, has this helped your business? Yes, Carol, in a way. My online sales have definitely risen. I'm getting, anywhere from, I'm averaging more like 1 or 2 a day than before. I was averaging like 2 to 3 a week, because events were my big sellers. Stores, working with stores and doing wholesale was a big, huge part of my business. And obviously when I did events, I mean, I could make 2 or 3 months of online sales in one weekend at an event. So not having events, and I love events because I get to talk directly to my customers. I get to see people like you, Carol, and reconnect and see how life is going. And, that's the thing I miss the most, in addition to the money. But it's also nice because we have been advertising a little bit more, and a lot of our online sales are coming from people, first-time buyers of mine. And so it's really cool to see that, to see people discovering the brand. I think word of mouth is also, as you know, it's so important. So always thank you for, I know your friends know that that's probably a Brynn bag on your arm. And that makes me super happy because, when I started this business, like I said, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And being able to grow and learn as a designer, and then meet people of like mind that totally get why I do what I do, it's a huge blessing. And that's the hard part about online is when we get new products, now we have to go out, get them photographed. I have to figure out what that looks like with a photographer, or am I doing my own photography? So I am excited to get some new products online, get some tote bags back up online, get some more hair and hide products. We're looking at brown and white hair and hide. So online is definitely a lifesaver for me right now, because if I didn't have online, I don't know what I would do. So thank you for the question, Carol. What other questions do we have?
Another question came from Beth, and she wants to know how you manage a business that can fluctuate widely with month-to-month revenues, especially during COVID, which you kind of explained. But.
Yeah, well, I mean, I probably don't do enough of budgeting. I, as my dad used to call me, I'm a fly by my seat of my pants kind of girl. And, you know, when I first, years ago, I was doing a lot of like, really controlling my expenses, my spending, because I wanted to be able to pay off my bills every month. I didn't want to have the business in debt at all. And I did a really good job of that for probably, 5 or 6 years. Which built my credit up, which was great. But I think it also kind of held me back. There was a lot of things that I'm like, oh, I can't afford to do that. So, because I couldn't pay it off, that I wasn't allowing the business to grow. And I started realizing that, sometimes you had to spend money to make money, as they say. And so it felt like I needed to kind of just start doing things that the business needed. Balancing that out is difficult. I don't know when the next online sale is going to come. I just have to believe in the process and believe that I'm going to. And I feel like every time I send out 2 or 3 items, all of a sudden, and I hadn't gotten an order in like a day or two, all of a sudden, boom, I'll get like an order for 3 more. So it's almost like the universe knows when to help me out. But I think that's why we're on social media, we're on advertising, and we're doing that. And, every little bit counts. And, as a business, because I'm also pivoting away from wholesale and more towards direct to consumer, we are spending more money on advertising. That's just the cost of doing business. Just the same kind of, I look at the wholesale as that used to be a cost of doing business. So it is kind of, I think it's always nervous when you're running your own business, whether you're the type of business that I have or not, because you don't know. You just have to believe that the orders are going to come. That I remember the first time I did my first event, I think I've told you this story. So I had like a really early event. It was like a really cheap event. I spent like $100 to do the event, and I think I sold 1 bag, and I was like, I remember bitching and moaning, thinking, guys, I basically broke even. What happens when I spend $2,000 to do an event? Am I only going to sell 1 bag? Like, it felt like, but ironically, that customer that bought that $175 bag, this was back in 2007. She is still a regular customer of mine. So I look at that and I look at things differently now than I did before. You never know where the sales are going to come from. You never know when somebody's going to, be, in the state of like being able to purchase something from you or need something from you. And you just got to keep evolving and keep changing, and not changing, but like making more product and doing new things and testing out things. And I didn't go to business school, I didn't go to fashion school, but I think figuring it out as you go is a huge part of it. And I do events now and I make a lot more money than I made that little $75 purchase. And had I taken that and said, oh, these aren't going to work for me ever, I wouldn't be in business. But you have to just take each fall. Like I will tell you guys all the time, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. Like you just have to keep going for it. And I think that's no matter what you're doing in life, you just have to, you have to be open to making mistakes and open to losing, because otherwise you can't play the game.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Beth had another question, and she wanted to know if you had to save up a lot to start your business, or...
Do I have to save up a lot to start my business? I didn't. When I started the business, God, I was living in a one-bedroom apartment in LA. 9/11 had hit. I had been making some fun little side bags just for gifts for people. And my friend said, why don't you have a handbag party and, sell bags? And I'm thinking, who's going to want to buy bags from me? Like, I don't know who's going to want to buy bags. So had the party, people bought bags. So I started going up and down all over California selling bags because it was kind of like, oh, well, people are buying them. So I never went in with X amount of money to start the business. I just kind of said, I got to make this work somehow. I just got to keep going. When I officially turned it into like a full-fledged business, when I left my 9-to-5 officially in 2005, that's when I said, okay, I need to figure out, who I can get to help me make more bags, because I couldn't physically make them all myself anymore. I needed a team. And that, was just kind of from selling bags and then using that money to buy more, to make more bags. And I think I just got lucky. I don't even really know how to explain it. I think that, believe me, I went through some bad times. I didn't have a lot of money. My friends would be like, why aren't you going out? And I just was like, I don't have money to go out. I probably could have racked up the credit card bills, but I didn't want to do that at the time. I wanted to, focus on the business. So I will say it's probably smarter to save up some money and start something with something. I just had nothing left to lose, and so I just went for it.
Yeah, definitely a good thing to do.
Carol said I made a wallet user out of her. I tell you, Carol, I was not a wallet user before either. And I think it's because the wallets that I saw out there were so bulky, and it seemed like there was so much that it wanted you to put in it, and I was like, I don't have enough stuff to put in this. That I really wanted something super simple and really clean, and just, I don't like those really tight pockets. It's really hard to get your credit cards out of them. I see friends struggling all the time with their wallet because they're so tight, the pockets, that I was just like, I just want something nice and loose. I can put as many in each that I want, and I can call it a day. So, it took me a little while to get used to the flapping of it, because I was thinking of making it just an open wallet, but I really liked having the flap. I feel like it just condensed it a little bit more and kept it kind of more secure. So I agree, Carol. I was a share user made into a wallet type of girl.
This is our final question, unless people have more. But Marion wanted to know, what was the inspiration behind your infamous Lauren bag?
The inspiration behind Lauren. Well, my friend Lauren, she owned a boutique, and she always had celebrities that she would close the boutique for, and they would come and shop the boutique. She always had the next up and coming handbag label on her arm. I discovered all these handbag companies that I didn't even know existed. When I first started doing handbags, I thought, well, there's not that many people doing handbags. There are a lot of people doing handbags, and I don't think I ever realized that because I didn't really know where to look. You look at department stores, but outside of department stores, there are so many brands and so many unique offerings. And so she always turned me on to a new brand. So I kind of was like, well, what makes her discover a new brand, or what makes her want to shop a new brand and, spend the money on that versus just a brand that everybody else has? Because so many people just want, the next Marc Jacobs or the next, whatever, Kate Spade, or And I thought, if she's discovering new brands, I want to create something that she would love, because if she loves it, then I can maybe build a brand on that. I had other designs, other styles, but that was kind of like the game changer. I designed that bag in 2010, and I had been doing the business from 2006 until then, and it was doing okay. But it wasn't until I designed that style that boutiques started wanting to like officially put in bigger orders. That when I did my one of a kind show that year, that's like I couldn't keep that bag on hand. It was just selling and selling and selling. And the whole premise behind it was I really wanted. I always had designed bags with a gusset, like with a bottom, because people wanted to be able to set their bag down. And I'd seen flat bags before, but I thought, flat bag, like, then you always have to hang it on something, and there was something about that. But I also liked how slender it looked on your arm. It was kind of more flattering. I hated the big bulky bags because I felt like I bumped into everything or whatnot, or they wore on the corners really badly. So when I was designing the bag, I thought, well, I need pockets, because I didn't have a wallet at the time, Carol. So I was like, I need a spot for my phone. I need a spot for my keys. I need a spot for my lip gloss. I need a spot for my pens. I need a spot for my, perfume, whatever, gum. And I wanted something that, I could wear several different ways. And I had seen fold over bags, but all they could do was be up or folded. And I was like, well, if you're going to add hooks on the side and hooks on the top, it's got to be able to do more than just be a fold-over bag. So I thought if I made all the straps detachable, then you could really attach them wherever you wanted to attach them. And, the great thing about that bag was that customers really made it their own. Like, I'd see customers wearing it in a way that I didn't even think about when I was designing it. And I was like, oh, it looks cool that way. And so it just became this like kind of make it your own bag. And so, the premise of it was just a slender, a lot of pockets, multiple ways, something that Lauren would be like, oh my God, that is an awesome bag. So I designed it all, and then I actually met with her and I said, okay, Lauren, what do you like about this bag? What if you were gonna, change anything, what would you change? And we kind of worked on it together. To be honest, I don't know how many changes we officially made. I wouldn't say it was a lot, but it was definitely, I wanted her to be a part of that process. So we did that together. And then when I designed, basically when I brought the mini Lauren out 2 years later, it was just because the Lauren was overwhelming on some body types. If you're shorter or a lot smaller, the Lauren could be overwhelming. I can wear both sizes and get the same use out of them, so they work for me. But I get it. Some people are just looking for a small bag. To me, you can make it small by flapping it over, but I don't know. It was just kind of one of those things, and I was very much about, I think the stitching on that bag also kind of makes it. It gives it dimension, it gives it detail, it just adds something to a very simplified design. So that's why I designed it. And I think I've had so many designs that have lost their punch, so to speak. Like, I had an Allison bag. I did just recently bring back the Edie bag, but like, I've been wanting to bring back the Allison bag. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Betsy. And so it's kind of like there have been bags that have gone off, and I'm not making the Sophie anymore. I want to bring that back. I'm not making the Samantha. But the Lauren bag, I've made very teeny updates to it over the years, but it's hands down. It's why I'm still in business, I think. To be honest, I think the others are great additions. Like the Nikki, the studs on it, it's very unique. It's very different. The Jen, the asymmetrical fold over, like I like each of the designs to stand on their own, and because I don't want to compete with myself. I think that was what was happening with certain bags before, is that I was competing with myself, and one would outwin the other, and so it just became that. And now people, I think, embrace the other styles because of their uniqueness and what they offer. So I think that answered it. Cheers, everybody. Does anyone have any other questions? I know I've just been blah, 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 blah for the last 20 minutes. So I know that a lot of you, let's see. Hi, Heidi. Nice to see you. It's funny because now Facebook Live, like when you wave to me, it'll say bring them on camera. So I had thought about bringing people on camera. If you guys want to do that, I would be more than happy to. But I think a lot of you are like, no. But I'm going to wave back to you. But yeah, so I thought I would just take this week to kind of, obviously a lot of you know me personally, but you may not know the ins and outs of, what I did before I started the business, what I did, why I design what I design. I mean, they're all kind of, they just start with a piece of paper and a pencil. I'm still old school. I still like to draw them out. I'm not I love Photoshop doing for social media stuff, but I don't use Illustrator. I just kind of draw everything out. My contractor is local on the south side of Chicago, in case you didn't know. So that's where I go. I create all these different things to help them. I feel like I'm getting, what's that called? The in and out of sync, like my internet connection is spicy. But so I hope that enlightened you a little bit more about me, about the brand. We do the leather that we source, in case you were wondering. I use, for the most part, I buy from American-based companies that buy Italian and South American leather. I have gone direct to Italy before. It was a little bit different of an experience because I didn't have samples sent to me. I knew what leather I was ordering from them, so it made it easier. But they also don't do square foot. They do meters square and do euros versus US dollars. And then I didn't realize how much money it would cost to ship it to me from there and all the different things involved with that. So it ended up being about the same price that I pay the American companies to go and do all that for me and to have it in stock. And so whether I need to buy one hide or I need to buy, 10 hides, it makes it a little bit easier to work with them. One of the companies is in Napa, California, one in North Carolina, one in New York. So I use kind of leather companies from all over. We did just start doing the hair on hide, which has been popular. We're looking at adding a brown and white hair on hide because the black and white did really well. And of course the cheetah. We're thinking about doing it in the gen. So if you are interested in the hair on hide and the gen, let me know that as well, because that's something that we are thinking. We're just not sure how the magnets are going to work, to whether we have the back side be the hair on hide and the front side be cowhide, so that way when it flaps over, that the magnets stay nice and strong. We might have to test that out. The guitar straps are definitely in the works. We are now just narrowing down our choices. But if you're interested in those, you can check out the blog. We're starting to talk about that more there. But yeah, so I just kind of started this business on a whim, and every day I just kind of wing it and move forward and try new things. And yeah, so I thank all of you for being a part of that and supporting me, whether it's coming here, talking to your friends about it, online orders, all of it is, helps me out a ton. I think just word of mouth is so important, and small business is kind of hurting right now. I know without without events, we're definitely down. So online sales definitely help until we can get back out there and meet face to face with people and do events. Crossing my fingers that the holiday one of a kind show, my biggest show of the year, I'm crossing my fingers that it doesn't get canceled. So cross your fingers for me. And yeah, so thanks for joining, and have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Go out and support American-made companies, your local restaurants, all that stuff, because it's so, so important. And I thank you for being a part of my journey. And we will see you next week. I'm trying to get another designer to come on. I have a jewelry designer friend that I love. She does great work. This is one of her rings. It's so cool and unique. And actually these earrings are hers as well. I work with a lot of Chicago jewelry designers. They are awesome. If you ever need a list, we should put a list on our website. Maybe we'll add it to the bottom of this. So thanks for joining, and I hope that you are all on our newsletter list and you're getting that information, because we try to have it be, very value oriented and let you know more about, I think we have one about cleaning coming up, one about leathers coming up. We're working on some mystery bundles, so we have a lot of exciting things in the works. So thank you again. Happy 4th of July weekend, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye everybody.